We are hearing Preface to SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM by Srila Sai Maharaj. Yesterday we heard about spiritual communism. Because in this world, everyone, due to false ego, has his own selfish desires, and he is expanding, and he will come in quarrel with another. Even outwardly, one may approach as a friend, but with some self-interest. So here Srila Sai Maharaj told that one has to go gradually, from beginning, step by step, cautiously, and not jump forward, so that he can get the real thing. It should be gone through chapter by chapter, one after another. The reading matter is so arranged with the original Sanskrit text, its English transliteration, synonyms, translation and purports, so that one is sure to become a God-realized soul at the end of finishing the first 9 cantos. The 10th canto is distinct from the first 9 cantos because it deals directly with the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. One will be unable to capture the effects of the 10th canto without going through the first 9 cantos. The book is complete in 12 cantos, each independent, but it is good for all to read them in small installments, one after another. So first one has to be God realized. That means you know Krishna, God is eternal master. We are all related to him as his eternal servants. When one is well established in this, then he can go to 10th canto. Otherwise he will misunderstand Krishna Lila and try to imitate or become envious, and that will have wrong effect on him. That is why it is in this way one has to go. One will be unable to capture the effects of 10th canto. And in 10th canto, Ras Lila especially, one will not be able to properly understand that if he is not properly trained, and he will get opposite result. If prematurely he wants to hear that, speak that, even to think about that, Vyasadeva also gave warning that as if you are Shiva, if you are not Shiva, but you want to drink that poison will kill you, but Shiva can digest. So one has to have all those qualifications necessary to hear, speak, or remember that. All realized acharyas are speaking about that. I must admit my frailties in presenting SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM, but still I am hopeful of its good reception by the thinkers and leaders of society on the strength of the following statement of SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. Vak visargo janatagha viplavo yasmin pratishlokam abandhavatyapi. Namani anantasya yashon kitani yach chrinvanti gayanti grinanti sadavaha. This is from first canto. On the other hand, that literature, which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, form, and pastimes of the unlimited Supreme Lord, is a transcendental creation meant for bringing about a revolution in the impious life of a misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literature, even though irregularly composed, is heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. Om Tat Sat, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. The point is, if one is a surrendered devotee to Krishna and has a desire to serve him, that will please Supreme Lord, and that sound can touch the soul of other sleeping souls and can awake them to devotion to Krishna. One may be very good scholar and know all grammar and everything perfectly and very good oratory, that capacity, everything, literary capacity. But if he's not a devotee of Krishna, then that is material sound. It has no any value in getting eternal welfare. But devotees, how much they are surrendered, that will have effect. Krishna will be pleased, even though there may be some mistakes in English or in Sanskrit or something, but bhav, that mood of devotion, will be accepted by Krishna, and that sound will also have effect. You will find there are some, those who are sadhakas, they will also sing the glories of Krishna, and that will also have effect. And then you have pure devotees, they will sing the glories of Krishna very boldly because they are beyond Maya and they want to divert the mind of conditioned souls from untruth to truth. Or you will find some pure devotees, they are in that mood, always in humble mood, although they have no mistakes and although they are beyond Maya, but because they are in contact with unlimited Supreme Lord, they are always humble because they know there is no end to Sharanagati, there is no end to the glories of Krishna, so they cannot have any vanity, pride, that I fully understood Krishna, I know everything about him, and that vanity, that pride, no actual realized devotee can have. It is impossible. But when Krishna orders them to preach, then they will act very boldly for this reason, so that conditioned souls will not be misled by atheistic propaganda, but that is not out of false pride. This because already they are beyond Maya, so they know who is Krishna, they know all Sambandha Gyan, so they can give that knowledge and they can inspire people to worship, so they will do that. That is called Acharjo Abhiman, that identity or ego of Acharjo, but that is not out of false ego. But if some conditioned soul is generally Kanishta Adhikaris, they know nothing in the beginning, then after some time they know something, and like a small boy in school, suddenly he becomes very proud. I know so much, I know everything, I am so big. Then due to that false pride, they will boast, but they will also have to get lesson. That they should become sincere in the service of Krishna, not for those other ulterior desires. It is also stated in Shastra In Karma Kant, we will find here in Bhagavatam, when Tvashta Muni did that yagya, he wanted to make one demon who will kill Indra. But he uttered that mantra with wrong emphasis. Something he said more silently and something more loudly. So the effect was not that demon will come who will kill Indra, but demon will come whom Indra will kill. In Karma Kant, Brahmin, the Smarta Brahmin said that it is very important that mantra is properly pronounced with all the letters and everything, and also meter, and also emphasize and speed and everything. So many things are there. In Karma Kant, there these things are very much considered. But in devotional practice, Bhakti Yoga, outward ritual and those things are not so important, as is the bhav, love, mood of service of that devotee. So even if someone says some mantra wrongly, like, when there is a name Govinda, Krishna, and when you want to offer to Govinda, then you will use that mantra Govindaya Nama. Unto Govinda I am offering. So that changes. Govinda, Govindaya, Madhavaya, Narayanaya, Hrishikeshaya. But for Vishnu, someone who does not know grammar of Sanskrit properly, he may say Vishnaya Nama. It is wrong according to grammar, but still Krishna will accept, because that mood is important. Properly grammar would be Vishnave, but he does not know, so he says Vishnaya. Still Krishna will accept. That is in Bhakti Yoga. And we also saw that Brahmin in South India, there were many scholars in Sri Rangam inside. They were pronouncing Bhagavad Gita, reciting very with melody and proper pronunciation, and they understood the meaning word by word in Sanskrit. But when Mahaprabhu came, he was not attracted by them. He was attracted by another one, Brahmin, who did not know Sanskrit, but still he was reading Gita wrongly, but with great devotion, because his Gurudev told him that this Bhagavad Gita is transcendental sound. It is coming from the lotus mouth of Sri Krishna, non-different from him. It's transcendental sound. So you should recite that Gita with great respect, with great devotion in the morning, whole Gita, before you take any food or drink or anything. So this Brahmin was simple-hearted and devotee of Krishna, and he had full faith in Guru and in the words of Guru, so he was doing that every day. And while reading, he got darshan of Krishna. How is this possible? He does not know Sanskrit and these things. How he got darshan? He was crying. Mahaprabhu was attracted to go to that Brahmin and heard from him. Great satisfaction. Then ultimately, he revealed himself to that Brahmin, that he's that same Krishna, because Brahmin could feel that. So here the point is, Sai Maharaj is sincerely trying to serve his Guru by spreading the glories of Krishna in English language. So his attempt is sincere. So Krishna is accepting that, and he is satisfied, and all those who will hear will also satisfy Krishna by hearing. They will get devotion to Krishna. But if something is perfectly composed but no devotion, that is useless. Krishna is everywhere, he knows everything. So most important thing is that devotion, if one has or not. So such literature, which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of name, fame, form, and pastimes, will bring a revolution in the impious life of misdirected civilization. Means they will change their wrong direction from aversion to Krishna and trying to exploit this world into devotion to Krishna. So this was preface. Then there is foreword by the publishers. This Bhagavat Puran is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Puran. This is one verse from Bhagavatam. When Krishna departed, that time Bhagavatam manifested to give the light to this world. Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna. That will also come, this topic. The timeless wisdom of India is expressed in the Vedas, ancient Sanskrit texts that touch upon all fields of human knowledge. Originally preserved through oral tradition, the Vedas were first put into writing 5,000 years ago by Srila Vyasadeva, the literary incarnation of God. After compiling the Vedas, Vyasadeva set forth their essence in the aphorisms known as Vedanta Sutras. SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM is Vyasadeva's commentary on his own Vedanta Sutras. It was written in the maturity of his spiritual life under the direction of Narad Muni, his spiritual master, referred to as the ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic literature. SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM is the most complete and authoritative exposition of Vedic knowledge. It is the ripened fruit. Later we will come to know that it has no skin and no seed. This fruit will only drink it, that nectar, through your ears. It is not like worldly fruit. There was once one monkey. He was living on one tree, and the fruits are called jam in India. Jam. They are very good taste, very sweet. So that monkey, he was eating those fruits. That monkey was eating those fruits on that tree. And he also gave to others. And there was one river below this tree. And crocodile is living there. So monkey one time also gave to that crocodile. And that crocodile took that fruit. And he was astonished. Oh, so sweet fruit, so good taste. He was very satisfied. So he thought, because crocodile, if he will catch monkey, he will eat monkey food. But this crocodile was so satisfied with this fruit, so out of greed for getting more of those fruits, this was his interest. he thought, let me make friendship with this monkey. So very nicely he behaved and spoke with him and everything, and to become friend, not because he loves or wants to satisfy monkey so much, because of his greed. That is friendship in this world. There is no pure friendship. Pure relationships are only with Krishna on that transcendental platform. That is love. All of us who have false ego in this world, we are all selfish. We may not admit, or even we may not be aware, but it is there. So this crocodile made friendship with that monkey, and monkey, okay, they became good friends. So monkey used to give that fruit to crocodile, and crocodile was happy. Then one day monkey also asked crocodile, how is your life, how you are like. Then crocodile said, yes, it is good. I also have one wife, I have some children, so I want to give this fruit to them also. Will you give me? Then monkey said, yes, okay, you take. So that crocodile took that fruits to his family, and they were all very satisfied, and wife, she was very happy. Oh, such a good taste, very sweet. I never tasted like this. So then, this is this world. I'm not saying it is this story is like that. And that wife said, this your monkey, he became your friend, and he's all the time eating these fruits for many years. So how much sweet must be his body? He's all the time taking that fruit. So his flesh must be very sweet, very good taste. So I have a desire to eat the heart of that monkey. Then crocodile was in awkward position, and then wife told, I want to eat his heart. If you will not give me the heart of that monkey, then I will give you up. I will go away. So out of attachment, crocodile thought, how I will give the heart of that monkey to my wife, but he must, because he's afraid she will leave and he's attached. So although outwardly he was acting as a friend of monkey, but he had self-interest, and now also self-interest to remain for wife. So he went to that monkey and very nicely, everything is, all my family members, they were very happy to get that fruit, especially my wife. So my wife, she said she wants to thank you personally. So you please come with me to our place, and she wants to. So then that monkey, how I will go? Then crocodile said, you sit on my back. I will take you to that place because that river is there. So then that monkey was on the back of crocodile, and they reached in the middle of the river where now monkey cannot escape anymore, cannot go any place. So then crocodile said, you know, once he saw that monkey cannot escape, he said, my wife actually wants to eat your heart. That is why I'm taking you there. Then monkey was thinking, oh, I was cheated. But he was also very intelligent. crocodiles are not so intelligent, as we'll hear during Kartik. Crocodile and elephant, they are not very intelligent. So then, but monkey was intelligent. So monkey said, "Oh, really? Why you didn't tell me before?" Then crocodile said, "Why?" Then monkey said, "Because I'm living on that tree and I'm eating those fruits. So everyone wants to eat my heart. So I kept my heart in some safe place. I took out my heart and I kept in some safe place there on the tree. So it is there. If you would tell me that your wife wants to eat my heart, then I would take it. But now I don't have it. So how she will get?" Then crocodile, then what will do now? The monkey said, you bring me back to the tree. I will bring that heart. So crocodile is not so intelligent. So he thought, because he wants to satisfy his wife, so he went there and immediately monkey jumped on the tree and saved his life. Then crocodile was, "Now you come." Then monkey said, "No, you cheated me. And I will throw stones at you if you will not go." So like that, this is this world. Selfish desires and less intelligence and all this, so all these problems. But one should hear Bhagavatam to get this, the ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic literature. This fruit we have to seek wholeheartedly. That devotion to Krishna, it has no any seed and no any skin. Nothing to reject, everything you can drink. After compiling the Bhagavatam, SRIMAD Bhagavatam is the most complete and authoritative exposition of Vedic knowledge. After compiling the Bhagavatam, Vyas imparted the synopsis of it to his son, the sage Shukadev Goswami. Shukadev Goswami subsequently recited the entire Bhagavatam to Maharaj Parikshit in an assembly of learned saints on the bank of the Ganges at Hastinapur, now Delhi. Maharaj Parikshit was the emperor of the world and was a great Rajarshi, saintly king. Having received a warning that he would die within a week, he renounced his entire kingdom and retired to the bank of the Ganges to fast until death and receive spiritual enlightenment. The Bhagavatam begins with Emperor Parikshit's sober inquiry to Shukadev Goswami. "You are the spiritual master of great saints and devotees. I am therefore begging you to show the way of perfection for all persons, and especially for one who is about to die. Please let me know what a man should hear, chant, remember, and worship, and also what he should not do. Please explain all this to me." So as Arjuna submitted to Krishna, like that Parikshit Maharaj fully submitted to his Gurudev Shukadev Goswami and asked what he should do and what he should not do. He was fully open, as we will see. Shukadev Goswami's answer to this question and numerous other questions posed by Maharaj Parikshit concerning everything from the nature of the self to the origin of the universe held the assembled sages in rapt attention continuously for the 7 days leading up to the king's death. whenever we were in India, either in Calcutta or Delhi or Chandigarh or someplace, and Gurudev would speak in the evening, Harikatha, that is Bhagavatam, and sometimes there would be some noise from cars and some fire crackers and those things there. So there was noise. Then Gurudev would always say that when in Shukartal, that is where Shukadev Goswami came, there were many sages, so many, but there was a pin drop silence. All were very attentive to hear. Pin drop silence means if you drop a pin to the ground, you will hear that sound. Such silence was there that you could detect that sound of pin dropping. So pin drop silence was there. Here it is written because they are all very eager, not inattentive, but attentively they were hearing. The sage Suta Goswami, who was present in that assembly when Shukadev Goswami first recited SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM, later repeated the Bhagavatam before a gathering of sages in the forest of Naimisharanya. Those sages, concerned about the spiritual welfare of the people in general, had gathered to perform a long, continuous chain of sacrifices to counteract the degrading influence of the incipient age of Kali. In response to the sage's request that he speak the essence of Vedic wisdom, Suta Goswami repeated from memory the entire 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam as spoken by Shukadev Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit. He was blessed by Baladev Prabhu. When Baladev Prabhu was going in pilgrimage, he did not want to involve in Kurukshetra war because Duryodhana was his disciple in martial art, fighting. So he did not want to take side. So on the he was going to pilgrimage. So he came to this Naimisharanya where they were doing, and first Romaharshan Sutta was there to recite the Puranas. And when Baladev came, all stood up in respect. That is the proper reception. First one has to stand up. And then when that speaker will take his seat, then everyone will offer obeisance and sit. But first have to stand up. So they stood up, but he did not, Romaharshan Sutta, because he was sitting on that raised platform. The sages they gave him. And Baladev saw he has false ego. Because Baladev is Gurudev, himself is here, and he's not recognizing, and he's proud, he's sitting on a raised platform, he does not want to stand up. Then Baladev thought how he can speak Bhagavatam or Puranas, how? With false ego, how is this possible? It is not possible, he cannot speak. So, to give a lesson, Baladev killed that Romaharshan Sutta out of compassion. That is out of love. Then the sages were sad and said, we gave him that seat, so now who will speak the Puranas? You please tell. Then Baladev said his son will speak, Suta Goswami. He is qualified to speak, so he installed him. So Suta Goswami repeated from memory the entire 18,000 verses of Bhagavatam. He heard from Shukla. He was sitting there when Parikshit Maharaj was listening. He was also listening that time. So exactly he reproduced. The reader of Srimad Bhagavatam hears Sutta Goswami relate the questions of Maharaj Parikshit and answers of Shukadev Goswami. Also, Sutta Goswami sometimes responds directly to questions put by Shaunaka Rishi, the spokesman for the sages gathered at Naimisharanya. One therefore simultaneously hears two dialogues, one between Maharaj Parikshit and Shukadev Goswami on the bank of the Ganges, and another at Naimisharanya between Sutta Goswami and the sages at Naimisharanya forest, headed by Shaunaka Rishi. Furthermore, while instructing King Parikshit, Shukadev Goswami often relates historical episodes and gives accounts of lengthy philosophical discussions between such great souls as Narad Muni and Vasudev. Or like Maitreya and Vidur discussion also there, Kapil and Devahuti, they're there. With this understanding of the history of the Bhagavatam, the reader will easily be able to follow its intermingling of dialogues and events from various sources. Since philosophical wisdom, not chronological order, is most important in the text, one need only be attentive to the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam to appreciate fully its profound message. The translators of this edition compare the Bhagavatam to sugar candy. Wherever you taste it, you will find it equally sweet and relishable. Therefore, to taste the sweetness of the Bhagavatam, one may begin by reading any of its volumes. After such an introductory taste, however, the serious reader is best advised to go back to the first canto and then proceed through the Bhagavatam, canto after canto, in its natural order. This edition of the Bhagavatam is the first complete English translation of this important text with an elaborate commentary, and it is the first widely available to the English-speaking public. The first 12 volumes, Canto 1 through Canto 10, Part 1, are the product of the scholarly and devotional effort of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and the world's most distinguished teacher of Indian religious and philosophical thought. His consummate Sanskrit scholarship and intimate familiarity with Vedic culture and thought, as well as the modern way of life, combine to reveal to the West a magnificent exposition of this important classic. After the departure of Srila Prabhupada from this world in 1977, his monumental work of translating and annotating Srimad Bhagavatam has been continued by his disciples Hridayananda Das Goswami and Gopi Paranadhan Das. Srila Prabhupada is not a name, it is a title. Many, like I found, they will think this is the name, but it is not a name. It is like Gurudev or Vishnupad or something, it is title. But outside people, they think it is name. His name is Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. This is title. Gurudev told, every disciple has a right to call his guru as Prabhupada or Vishnupad or like this, Gurudev. So, for me, my Gurudev, so now if I will try to put on the book, author is Gurudev, then another will, his Gurudev. So this is a title. It can be given. It is not a name. There are many Gurudevs. So there are many Prabhupads also for that. So, but outside they usually they don't understand this. It is a title. Readers will find this work of value for many reasons. For those interested in the classical roots of Indian civilization, it serves as a vast reservoir of detailed information on virtually every one of its aspects. For students of comparative philosophy and religion, the Bhagavatam offers a penetrating view into the meaning of India's profound spiritual heritage. To sociologists and anthropologists, the Bhagavatam reveals the practical workings of a peaceful and scientifically organized Vedic culture, whose institutions were integrated on the basis of highly developed spiritual worldview. Students of literature will discover the Bhagavatam to be a masterpiece of majestic poetry. For students of psychology, the text provides important perspectives on the nature of consciousness, human behavior, and the philosophical study of identity. Finally, to those seeking spiritual insight, the Bhagavatam offers simple and practical guidance for attainment of the highest self-knowledge and realization of the absolute truth. The entire multi-volume text presented by the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust promises to occupy a significant place in the intellectual, cultural, and spiritual life of modern man for a long time to come. This is the publishers. Now, introduction by Srila Swami Maharaj. Let's see which time. It's not given here when it was first written. Okay. Introduction. The conception of God and the conception of absolute truth are not on the same level. The SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM hits on the target of the absolute truth. The conception of God indicates the controller, whereas the conception of the absolute truth indicates the summum bonum, or the ultimate source of all energies. So here, God, in the sense of as religions of this, they speak about him as a controller. So in this sense, but otherwise God and absolute truth are the same. But conception about God, which Western people by their religions have, that is not as clear as the conception of absolute truth, who is the ultimate source of all energies. There is no difference of opinion about the personal feature of God as the controller, because a controller cannot be impersonal. Of course, modern government, especially democratic government, is impersonal to some extent, but ultimately the chief executive head is a person, and the impersonal feature of government is subordinate to the personal feature. So, without a doubt, whenever we refer to control over others, we must admit the existence of a personal feature. Because there are different controllers for different managerial positions, there may be many small gods. That is, I think, demigods. According to the Bhagavad Gita, any controller who has some specific extraordinary power is called a Vibhutimat Sattva, or controller empowered by the Lord. There are many Vibhutimat Sattvas, controllers, that is Ishvaras, or gods with various specific powers. But the absolute truth is one without a second. This Srimad Bhagavatam designates the absolute truth or the summum bonum as the Param Satyam. So maybe here God, the conception of God and the conception of absolute truth are not on the same level. Maybe here it is meant like a demigod. It is written in capital letter, but if out of context, here controllers or gods with very specific powers, here it is with normal letter, not capital. So maybe he meant to distinguish these two demigods from the Supreme Lord, absolute truth. The author of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vyasadeva, first offers his respectful obeisances unto the Param Satyam, absolute truth. And because the Param Satyam is the ultimate source of all energies, the Param Satyam is the Supreme Person. The gods or the controllers are undoubtedly persons, but the Param Satyam, from whom the gods derive powers of control, is the Supreme Person. The Sanskrit word Ishvar, controller, conveys the import of God, but the Supreme Person is called the Parameshwar, or the Supreme Ishwar. The Supreme Person, or Parameshwar, is the Supreme Conscious Personality, and because he does not derive any power from any other source, he is supremely independent. In the Vedic literatures, Brahma is described as the supreme god or the head of all other gods like Indra, Chandra and Varuna. But the Srimad Bhagavatam confirms that even Brahma is not independent as far as his power and knowledge are concerned, because in those Puranas written by Vyasadeva, there are Sattvic Puranas, Tamasic Puranas and Rajasic. So in Tamasic Puranas, Shiva will be described as the Ishvar, God, Supreme, because they are eligible for that way of thinking and worship for gradual development, gradual advancement. And in Rajasic, it will be Brahma. So, but in Sattvic Puranas, it will be clear, and Bhagavatam is the best of all Sattvic Puranas, that there is Parameshwar, who is the controller of Shiva and Brahma. So I think here Swami Maharaj meant this, to distinguish between that conception of controllers, gods, and this one, Supreme. So Brahma received knowledge in the form of the Vedas from the Supreme Person, who resides within the heart of every living being. You know, the Hiranyakashipu also taught that Brahma is Supreme Lord. He offered prayers in that way, you know. Then he got boon. That Supreme Personality knows everything directly and indirectly. Individual infinitesimal persons who are parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality may know directly and indirectly everything about their bodies or external features, but the Supreme Personality knows everything about both his external and internal features. His means here Krishna's, H capital. So we may know directly and indirectly about our bodies and external features, but Supreme Lord knows about his external and internal features. The word Janmadhyasya suggests that the source of all production, maintenance, or destruction is the same Supreme Conscious Person. That will continue from here tomorrow. Because time is